Right. Welcome everyone to our webinar on Agentic AI and platform, how you build an AI platform to scale your Agentic AI efforts. I'm Jens Eriksvik. I'm the CEO of Algorithma. And with me today I have...
I'm Alex Ekdahl. I'm the CTO of Algorithma.
Today, Alex, what are we going to do?
We are going to sift through a lot around Agentic AI and Agentic AI platforms. We're going to try to keep this practical, go through or look through the hype and really dig into what we can do to scale this in a good way.
We're also going to demo.
Right? Oh, yes.
Yeah. So at least we'll do a short demo on an AI agent, but we'll also do a little bit more in-depth view on what we call the management suite and how you actually manage your digital workforce. So that's the plan for today.
Yep.
So let's dive into it. So first, a few notes about Algorithma. So Algorithma is a company that puts AI to work, and what that means is that we build AI agents that sit in your real workflows, you execute real tasks within the business, and most often do this in a very autonomous way. So you don't have to have human involvement, which means that they're more acting like a reliable, high-performing digital colleague that joins your business. And this we believe, and what we've seen, and we'll show the cases today as well, drives measurable outcomes with long-term value and impact and speed. So we're from Sweden, but we do deliver globally. So our clients are actually all across the world. So first, a few words on the agenda for today. First, we're gonna, I don't think we can do this without having to double click on what Agentic AI is, how it works, what the technology stack looks like, and where they use today.
Yeah.
And
then we'll have a glimpse on the Algorithma management suite, which is just a teaser for now on how we can manage Agentic AI at scale, multiple agents. We'll have some discussions around how to adopt and move from experiment to enterprise scale.
Oh, and if you have questions, just put them in the Q&A button. You should have it up to your top right, and we'll make sure to cover these throughout the session today. The idea is throughout to keep it practical. We will try to avoid too much technical jargon, but I know we will fail a few times. But let's help each other call it out when we get too technical, so that we can avoid that. All right. So with that said, let's dive into it. So an AI agent. This has been the buzzwords for the last at least 9 or 10 months or so. We saw Gen AI quickly morph into Agentic AI, and now this is the buzz. I guess to dial it back a little bit, what is an AI agent?
Yeah. So I think everyone is talking about AI agents currently, but there are a few differences to it. So there is what we call assistants, what that really is taking an input and producing an output. So answering questions, acting as an assistant on your behalf. You have to trigger it. And then we have Agentic AI, and what we mean when we say AI agents, which is autonomous agents. They proactively drive an outcome. They own their outcome. They can take their own decisions, and they typically sit in processes.
And I think it's almost it's in the name, right? An agent. So
yeah.
It has agency. And what does that mean for you?
For me, it means that you have the capability or the ability to act. So we tend to talk about digital colleagues, and just as a human, you would expect someone you work with to actually do things. You provided some kind of expectation, some kind of task to do, and then you let it go do its work.
So what's the, I mean, I guess the question that goes through many people's mind is, what's the difference from RPA or robotic process automation that we've seen for the last 15 years or so?
Yeah, so the main difference is that here we, in RPA, we tell the agent exactly what to do, if this, then that. And here we give it a work environment with structured tasks around it. And of course, we put some guardrails in place. But within that box, the agent works and acts.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so I mean, we're talking about this as a kind of a colleague and a digital colleague, in a very human terms, but it is, after all, it's a little bit about technology, right? So what if we double click on an AI agent? What is it?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there is some technology behind it.
Unfortunately,
nah, it's fine, but it also makes the conversation a little bit abstract sometimes. But anyway, so an agent is really built of a few steps or levels. The first one is the user interface, so some way to interact with the agent, trigger it to work, or alert it to start to work. That could be a Teams chat, that could be an email, that could be a system doing something which the agent reacts on. Could be an alert coming in or something.
It is like you tying it back to the human analogy here. Is this like when you reach out to a colleague?
A lot so. Yeah. And I think one user interface that is coming more and more now is voice, which makes it even more human. So instead of going to a chat or sending an email, you just pick up the phone and call them.
So, but I think this is the interesting part, right? And it's also a very important design parameter that we will come back to later on a few times. Is that when you design your AI agents, if you think about them as roles or colleagues with a role, you're also getting very clear on how do you want to interact with that role. So rather than to build a system, build an interaction pattern around the AI agent, which is more human-like.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have what everyone is talking about nowadays, the LLM, or the large language model, which is what generates the actual output or the human language. Paired with that, we have tools, and tools is capabilities that is available for the agent to use. That could be API calls, that could be going into a system and fill out a record. Or reply to an email. And then we have to have the two base parts of the agent, which is storage. It needs to store its information somewhere, usually a file storage and a vector database. And of course, some compute. So a server or a computer where it actually runs.
So what this means is that if I put other words on this, is that you have a set of capabilities to interact with the outside world, whether that be an input or output interface, tools to do things in systems or talk to it, and then lastly you have some kind of reasoning and memory.
Yeah. Exactly so.
But there are also a few things that are different, right?
Yeah. So first of all, since this is a system, we still need to have some security in place. We need to have access controls. We need to log what's going on. We need to have monitoring, and we'll show you later on. But we also need to put this in a secure place somewhere. But the gist of it is, except for the LLM, everything else is quite common IT.
Exactly. That's the old days.
Yeah.
The LLM is the new component in this. All right, but let's move to examples there. I mean, if we then look at how are people building these AI agents, where do they come into place? And I guess what we can say is that this is across the board, in every process and every business function. So you have it from front of office with customer service, you have it to sales processes, you have it in support processes like invoicing, time reporting, and financial management, and all of these are have packages that you can buy from your vendors. You have this included in some of your enterprise systems, whether that be Oracle or Microsoft or Salesforce or Dynamics. Then you have very verticalized solutions where we're specific to a specific task that you can buy, or you can build them your own. And we've seen all the cases, right? And all of them are really valuable to the business. A few of the best examples here, and I think that's the common denominator, is they all start in a limited scope. Like a junior hire to your team. Any thoughts on why that is?
So one thing that you might notice when looking at our examples is all our examples are actually in a process somewhere. So we are not building out more or less none of the personal assistants. So we're not helping Kalle in finance to automate his Excel sheet. That's not what we're doing. We're putting it in processes, and in processes we need to trust them. We need to make sure that they actually do what we want them to do. And we need to have some kind of adherence on the outcome. So starting small gives us the opportunity to make sure that it works, but it also gives us the opportunity to make the business trust the agent.
So, I mean, we mentioned voice earlier, and I think, and we've talked a little bit more in depth about customer service, but we're going to look at a case, and I think the important part of this case is that we started out with an AI agent that answered email, then it started to do chat, and as of Q4 last year, it's also taking care of voice, and this has been an interesting journey because AI Anders, which is his name, he works at one of our clients, Big Max, and there he's been doing a lot of work since then, and it's almost like he's been promoted throughout this journey, starting small, like you said, and then slowly building up the capabilities. So we have a quick demo to show you. So our colleague Victor will dial in to call Anders. If you have problems with the sound levels there, just make sure to raise the mic and you make sure to hear what Victor and AI Anders is talking about. So here we go.
I don't really understand Swedish. Could we switch to English?
Sure, we can switch to English. What can I help you with today?
Yeah, I'm just wondering where my order is.
I can help you with that. Could you share your order number with me and we'll check the status right away?
Yeah,
please read it out.
It's B7QGN4.
Let me repeat that back to you. B7QGN4. Could you confirm if that's correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Your order is on its way. It was placed on February 28th, and the preliminary delivery date is March 5th. The delivery is being handled by Byggmax Stockholm Kungsängen, and you'll be notified by SMS or email when it's out for delivery. Let me know if you need any more details.
So, I mean, this is, for me, I think this is great. I mean, while you can still hear it, that you're talking to a computer, which I think is actually quite reassuring. What it actually does is that you can, through natural language, you can discuss your topic. You can say whatever you want. It speaks most languages. It struggles with some dialects, but most, which makes it a very versatile tool to actually implement. So done right, as a junior colleague, which knows when it's supposed to hand over to a human or escalate the topic, or when it can't help you, it's actually a very helpful tool. However, I mean, if you like you see here is the point of this AI agent is not to only be technology first. It's actually to make sure that you're more available to your clients.
Yeah, and I think on this case, AI and Anders, we have actually spent quite some time to make it as human as possible in its interactions. But as you say, we still want to make sure that it's actually comprehended as an AI.
I mean, you can hear Victor, interrupting Anders, saying that, and he stops talking, which we're kind of far away from press 1 to do this and press 2 to do this and press hashtag to go backward. I mean, it's I don't think anyone liked those systems, but here you actually can provide a helpful colleague to solve some of your basic tasks that you have.
Yeah. And just think of the use cases there.
Yeah, and just to bring on to that, I mean, coming back to what you said in the beginning, I mean, these are inherited digital colleagues. So what is happening here is also that it's a full transcription of this call, which means that you get additional insights and additional data that is new to your organization, which you can use for other purposes. However, it's not all a breeze, right? So doing one agent, doing one use case, it's easy. You can almost vibe code it yourself, right? And just put it into production and be done with it. So what's the scaling challenge? Why are companies struggling with this?
Yeah, so and that's something we actually see happening. Someone has been sitting in his or her own corner, built something out that is working perfectly for them, and then they want to take the scaling step and introduce it to the rest of the business. And as we mentioned before, designed for only one person or one very, very narrow case, it's hard to scale. So first of all, make sure that we have a scope that is within a process, so we can scale it properly and not be very human or one person dependent. And then, of course, scaling also means that we build a lot of agents, which means we scatter them out, because there will probably be more than one department that wants to have an agent. And one is built in Copilot, one is built by us, another is built in Salesforce. So how do we govern that? How do we keep track of what we have? Then, of course, are these secure? Are they sharing data that they should not be sharing? Do they have access to data that they should not have, etc.? So there is a lot of scaling issues or challenges that we need to take into account when scaling.
But on this topic, I mean, we see there are a few, you were burning cash, we have security issues, we have, data scattered all over the place, you have, non-up-to-date documents, and I know, my background is in tech, so I know working within IT organizations, that uncontrollable costs, data all over the place, that it's not a very nice feeling, right? So you're the CIO of a large enterprise. How do you think about this?
Yeah, so the first thing is that currently there is an opportunity to be one step ahead. I think there's still that opportunity. In a few months or maybe 6 months, everyone has started within their department to build this, and then you're trailing, and then you have to kind of make up for that. So provide a workplace or a home for the agents, if you like, that you control, is very easy to adapt to, and gives the business some kind of security framing to maintain around their agents.
So if we then move on to the main event here today, about talking about the platform and the role of the agentic platform. I mean, what is the platform? If we start there, let's frame the platform thinking.
Yeah, so the platform thinking is 2 parts. The first one is a factory thinking. Don't reinvent the wheel all the time. Make sure that you reuse whatever you have. So the base area of the platform is really a base agent, that we call it, which is a pre-built basic agent that does all the core functionality of an agent. And then we pair that with tools and specific integrations, etc., that you need for your business case. But so that's the low levels of the platform. One way to produce agents quickly. And then the second one is to manage and govern your agents. So the second part is what we've been talking about a lot here. How do we make sure that they're governed, they're secure, they're doing what they are supposed to do, no drifting, no PII data leakage, etc.
I mean, we talked about it at the beginning. We talked about the analogy of an office, the place where agents come to work.
Yeah.
Does that hold up? Or?
I think it holds up pretty well. There is a factory floor, and there is some kind of management office space trying to keep control.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, you already mentioned them. If we look into the base components of this, is that we have the base agent, and for me, when talking about the base agent, that's almost like saying that this is your new colleague coming, from with an education from a university, and it's you've been teaching it a lot of stuff, how to use a system or how to read a document or how to speak. You probably learned that a little bit earlier, but you get the point. And that's the base agent, right? And then we have the platform or the main components. And I think one of the things that we are encouraging our clients to do is to build this behind their own firewalls.
Yes.
And I mean, obviously keeping control of the data and, at least in some aspect remaining technology agnostic, etc. Are there other reasons for doing this?
Well, so there is a few, of course. So one is regulations that is just increasing around data, AI, etc. So you can build something within your firewalls, within your organization that adheres to your policies. And the other one, which might be the most valuable one, is that you actually maintain and keep whatever you build.
Yeah.
So you're not only building agents, but all the data you're collecting is actually your data. It hasn't left your premises even.
Yeah. Because I mean, what we look at later on is what we call sessions and traces, and I mentioned it when we looked at the demo of AI analysis that it generates a lot of new data.
Yeah.
And that data is your treasure trove for how to drive your agentic journey. I mean, if you're giving that away and you're not keeping it, then you're only solving half of the problem or tapping into half, or not even half, of the value of your agentic AI transformation. And then the management suite. But I mean, we're going to go through this a little bit more in a few seconds. But if you just want to put a few words around the management suite.
Yeah, of course. So the management suite is built of a few components. As Jens mentioned, observability, meaning traces and sessions. We collect and store everything the agent does, every interaction it has, every tool call it makes. We have an agent registry where we actually register but also capture whatever agents are active within our platform. So we can, for example, name them and keep traces of them. We have the performance review area where we try to move into the human space where we actually want to have a kind of an HR session with the agent to make sure that it's developing as we intend to.
So, but if we start here with the platform setup, I mean, one of the key things for me when working on this is to find to build that central office where you can house your AI agents. And while this doesn't mean that you want to centralize all AI agent development, you at least want to make sure that you stay in control of the data, you want to stay in control of the costs, and you want to stay in control of the life cycle of the digital workforce. And we saw a version of this earlier when we looked at what's in an AI agent, but for it's how you interact with them, and then you break it down into a set of components, and how you interact with your internal environment. And the governance and setup of this is something that, at least in our interactions with our clients, there is a strong support for this approach from your tech. Because here you can make sure that you have, there's a new model in place. We can hot swap it across our estate, or we can balance different models to make sure that we optimize cost in this environment, and that gives you an edge when you're developing your digital workforce. Both being controlled, but you can still also manage the estate. But it also enables you, to your point earlier, Alex, to make sure that you can bring in whatever agents you have in, for example, your ERP, your finance system, or your CRM system, and connect them to the management suite.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key point, right?
Yeah, so I think we are not saying that we will build all the best agents in all systems, but we're rather saying let's bring in the good agents wherever they come from and manage them here.
Yeah, exactly. To give you that observability, traceability, and manageability that you're looking for when you're doing this at scale. I mean, imagine having 200 digital colleagues. I mean, how do you manage that setup?
Yeah.
All right. So let's move forward and talk about the management suite. And I think the key point of the management suite is, and we touched on this a few things earlier, is that, we want to build out the centralized management of the agents, but we also want to add a few things which we're going to show in a few seconds. So things like real-time observability, to make sure that you're in control of what they're doing. You want to make sure that security and compliance piece is there. And you mentioned a few other things as well. But can perhaps mention a few words about the concept of the session and trace logs?
Absolutely. So the concept is really that whenever an agent interacts with whatever system, human or anything else, we want to trace it, and it leaves traces. So we are really just capturing the traces. Each message is a trace. Each action is a trace. We capture it, we bundle it up, group it together with that specific agent, which gives us the real-time observability. So whatever is ongoing, we can trace it, we can audit it, and we can show it to either the stakeholder or the IT team if something went wrong there, or whatever is going on.
All right. Now it's second demo time, so let's show it what this means. I think the audience would like to see what it actually means, and now we're talking theory for quite some time. So let's dive into it.
Yeah. So here's a glimpse of the system. We won't be covering everything today because it's just a little bit too much, but we'll keep it on a fairly high level. So what you see in front of you is a session. We call it conversations. We're just scaled away all the technical things. We're just showing the incoming message from, in this case, some coworker, and the response from the agent. So in this example, you can move over to the trace view where you see the technical things of each message. We can see if it has made a tool call. We can also make annotations here and if we have anything to comment around the session. And then moving a little bit quickly into the prompts. So I think we mentioned prompt management. We want to have the ability to change prompts without redeploying code. So that's a hurdle we've stumbled upon a few times. So instead of having IT redeploying an agent, when we change prompts, we moved it here. And this also allows us for having version control. So we can tie each action, each session, each message to a specific prompt and when in time that was. And of course, putting it in a platform like this, we can collaborate on prompts, we can have reviewers on them, and once we agree that this is a good prompt to put into production, we simply promote it into production, and the system will just pick it up at the next turn and use that prompt instead. There is a few features here around regression testing and golden responses. We're not covering it today, but we'll be happy to showcase that later. And then the agent registry, as I mentioned. So this is a very simple registry, actually. It just lists your agents. You can assign an owner to it. You should assign an owner to it. But you can also have it capture new agents just from the incoming observations. So if someone deploys a new agent with our technology, it will pop up. And for each agent, we have the performance review. Here you see a dashboard or a quick overview of each agent that we have in this demo. And you can click into it to actually see the review that the owner is supposed to perform. You can see how it has performed. These are custom metrics, so you can set up your own depending on the use case. In this case, it has performed quite well, or at least according to what we've set as thresholds. So following it over the different performance dimensions here just gives you a quick overview if it has started to drift away or if it's still doing what we intended to do. We have an AI-generated insights on both strengths and improvement areas based on the logs or the observations that we have captured within this period. If there were any incidents reported, we have them listed for each agent. And we also have the ability to add action items. And here our AI will add action items, but you can also add your own. So more or less a to-do list to get the agent to perform better or back on track if it's failing in anything. And then finally, since we tie everything to each trace, to each message, we can just click on it and go back to whatever happened in that incident, whatever tool call was made, what LLM model was used, what cost it had, etc.
I mean, for me, it's, this is one part technology management, making sure you have the cost rate and all of that, which we talked about earlier, but it's also, hinting at something broader. I mean, we're treating these very much like, it's almost like an, HR and performance system for your digital workforce. And within that, we're also saying things like, like you said, we're setting performance metrics and we're following those performance metrics. For me, that also says that, coming back to what we said earlier, you need a boss, right?
Yeah.
You need a manager that owns or leads this digital calling, because without that, you're only going to get poor performing AI within your business. So it also speaks to governance, right? How you actually manage your digital workforce.
Yeah, fully agree. And I mean, so now we just showed a couple of custom metrics, but a typical one could be a CSAT score or an NPS score from a customer service perspective, for example, that you just push in.
Because I mean, what we see here, and what we're not talking to taking the next step, and when we're starting to say that, all right, let's move this from experiments to adoption. I mean, you had the tech in place, you did all the technology pieces, and now how you're actually going to scale that up in your business, that's going to be the big question. So let's dive into that and see what we can do. I think this for me is an important picture. So it measures 2 dimensions. So it measures the complexity scale, where we go from low complexity to high complexity, and go from low variance to high variance. And one of the reasons, at least I believe so, for the high reported failure rates of AI projects is really that, okay, how do we, companies are saying things like this. Oh, we have a lot of data over here. Perhaps AI can fix that. But we all know the quality of the data in those companies. It's not very good, to put it mildly. And secondly, if you don't know what data you have, how on earth is an AI going to make sense of that data? Yeah. And the output, simply, you will not trust it, which means that 85% of the cases, you're just going to fail. However, if you turn the tables and you look at low complexity and low variance, where you have repetitive tasks, where you have transparency, and this happens and I wanted to do that, then it actually makes sense to start with the digital calling. And then to the case we made earlier, once you had your digital calling in place, you can start to promote it. You can also take care of that, or it can take care of this, and it can do more once you feel you can trust it.
Yeah, so I think that's an important thing to point out. We're not staying in this area forever. We're just starting there.
Yeah,
that's the starting point.
And we try to summarize this into 4 points. So if we look at the starting points, how do you start your agentic AI journey? And I think there the first piece is to start in internal efficiency. costs, you can control costs, and you can be in control over your costs, which makes it more straightforward starting point rather than to start on revenue side. I mean, we're all going to get there, but as a starting point, it makes more sense to start your journey on the internal efficiency. So there you need to consider things like business impact, your cost reductions, and of course the workflow that you're going to work with. The other components are, back to the slide we have shown, is that, you can scope your agents in a way that from a variability point of view, but also from a complexity point of view, saying that this part of the workflow, let's take care of that. And these types of cases in that part of the workflow, let's work with those. Yeah. And then you increase coverage. But I think one of the strengths with AI is that you can actually start to solve part of the problem and then tell the AI agent, you're not allowed to do this because you're not equipped to do that. And I think that's, a human analogy. No one would hire me to do something and, expect me to take care of the full scope until I've learned the full scope. Yeah. I mean, it's a basic recruitment philosophy or promotion philosophy. And then lastly, just to bring that into the equation, is that, whenever we design these colleagues, let's make sure that they have human colleagues to rely on, that they can work with, and make sure that they remain a team. You want to add anything here?
I think you've mentioned most of the important things. I think we can move on.
Let's move on. So that brings us to a fairly busy slide, but it is an important thing. It's the scaling checklist. So whenever you started your journey, and you find that great starting point that you have by choosing this high impact, low complexity use case. And I just want to tie that back to the examples we saw. If you look in the areas of compliance, customer service, operational finance, operational HR, where you have a lot of repetitive tasks that happens, and make sure that you build out your colleagues for those use cases. Yeah. And then you set a set of clear objectives, what you want to achieve. You tie that into your performance reviews so that you're also tracking and measuring that your digital colleague is actually doing the work it's supposed to do. And then we have the notion of reusability.
Yes. So one thing is, of course, to figure out new use cases and to put agents in new areas. But once you started to build out your first agent, if you build it in a platform agnostic or a vendor agnostic platform, then you can actually reuse it. So tools can be reused. Build your MCP server and you can reuse it. Build your APIs and integrations in a way you can reuse it. Then you shorten the time for to deploy the next agent. You can promote capabilities for other departments to use, and you lower the threshold to scale.
Exactly, and I think that last point you made is also talking to the why do you need to build some of these capabilities yourself? Is also that, well, you might want to reuse them, and so rather than buying a new system in every department, you can actually start to reuse capabilities. Where reading a PDF is a fairly ubiquitous task in any enterprise. So if you make that work, you can reuse that capability.
Yeah, and I think the rules around posting tickets, for example, the guardrails around that is quite similar, whatever the system is named. Yeah. So you can reuse that. Then if you want to have a vendor-based agent that actually posts the ticket, fine, go ahead.
Exactly. And then we touch on a few topics, and you always talk about that, is of course governance compliance, so both from an ownership perspective, but also make sure that you build this architecturally sound. We've all seen the cases where AI agents has gone rogue, or either leaked information it shouldn't have, or done things it shouldn't have. So I think that can also be built in, and you can put hard guardrails around that, so it's not it's not in the system prompt to tell your large language model that you cannot do that, because we all know that can be tricked.
So we tend to lock down agents' capabilities with same restrictions we use for humans, meaning identities, firewalls, whatever we kind of put in place for everything else. We also use here. And we should also mention maybe that on the management suite, we also have two kind of post-action reviews, which are PII sensitivity scans. So on everything in the platform, we can scan it not only when things happens, but also in hindsight to see that we actually didn't screw up anywhere. And we can also have other agents review the work that an agent does and alert if it's going off trail or behaving in a.
And then, I mean, we could probably spend another webinar on talking about change management and where we start and all of that. But so we're not going to deep dive into that. But those components is, of course, important. What I would say, though, is that when we look at autonomous AI agents, at least our experience is that the change management journey is actually a little bit simpler there because, people like observing someone else doing work rather than to having be part of it all the time. So I think that's kind of helpful for the session.
It's also quite nice to wake up in the morning and something is done.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you dare to go autonomous, of course. The continuous improvement process there is extremely important. So it's not a one-off. It's not an implementation project. It is a recruitment project, and you need to have the continuous development of this digital colleague. Otherwise, it will drift, it will not develop, and it will not be helpful for your business because we know your business is changing.
Yeah, but with that said, it doesn't have to be a forever ongoing technology project.
That is correct.
So
it's the boss's job to make sure that the team develops. All right. So moving forward, if there are any questions, make sure that you pop them in the chat. I don't know if we have anyone. Alex, do you have it on your screen?
If we can.
There you go. All right, so here's one. What's the worst implementation that you had? Well, I don't want to point fingers anyone, but if I start to look at where we see less adoption and less value, I would say that one of the more challenging aspects of the setup is when you have the AI agents that are not autonomous and where humans are expected to both trigger the input and output, and then also to review anything that goes on the other side. And the challenge with that is that it requires so much change management effort to have the humans do something different, which means that the adoption rate is low. And when adoption rate is low, the project is deemed unsuccessful. And when it's deemed unsuccessful, it's kind of discarded as soon as possible. So the trick is to do that. To try to keep them as autonomous as possible.
And I think that's maybe our main ask from our clients, to work in a way that you can build up trust. So I think it's inherent in everything we do, but we're trying to also communicate it to our clients. So start small to build a trust.
All right, so we are coming to an end of the session. We have covered a lot of ground in terms of how you get started and how you move forward with Agentic AI. I think a few of the topics that we touched on is one, think of this as recruitment, identify the roles where you want to hire these AI agents and make sure that they join teams where you have a strong sponsor and leader that want to drive into the project. I think that would be one key thing. The other part is the platform thinking. So think about how you're going to manage a growing digital workforce, and that's not about buying more tech. It's about being smart on how you set that up. And then lastly, in terms of we talked about the scaling checklist and how you move that forward. So I think those components there are key in thinking through your Agentic AI journey. With that said, we have an upcoming after work in Stockholm. So if you're Stockholm based and you want to hear more, and not only hear from us, but also from some of the companies that we work with, feel free to go to our website and sign up. www.algorithma.ai, and sign up for the after work. During the after work, we will hear from. We'll talk a little bit about platform thinking, but we'll also hear Core talking about their AI journey and some of the digital colleagues they have joining their teams, and we'll also have a panel debate with a few industry experts to cover some of the tech trends and where the industry is moving. So if you're in Stockholm, make sure that you join us. We'll also have beer and food. So if nothing else, that might help. All right. You can also reach out to me or Alex. You see our emails there. So alex@algorithma.ai or jens@algorithma.ai. So feel free to reach out directly if you want to have a chat. Connect with us on LinkedIn and make sure that you stay in touch for more upcoming webinars.